everybody. We're going to go over some kind of a continued baking class. You learned about baking cake and going through the directions of using a cake mix and doing that. And so we have already prepared our baked cake. This is a half sheet cake size cake. So that means it's two cake mixes. Okay, so two cake batches go into one big pan and make this half sheet cake. I'm going to go over the ingredients again for the frosting, the homemade frosting. You're going to take a 1 3/4 cup of shortening. You can use butter, but shortening holds up better, especially in the hot weather. So I use the shortening most of the time. Then you're going to do a teaspoon of vanilla and mix those two together. So whip up really well your shortening and the vanilla. The next step is to slowly put in your frosting sugar. This is a 2-pound bag. You need a 2-pound bag to go with the 1 3/4 cup of shortening. So I put the frosting sugar, I open up the top, I put my mixer on low, and I little by little put the frosting sugar in, or powdered sugar. I call it frosting sugar, sorry. It's confectionery sugar, also known as powdered sugar. And then I alternate the sugar with a little bit of water. So I just have a random cup of water. You can use milk if you would rather, but I use water most of the time. And so I alternate that, and you're going to have to it's not really a measurement of water because it depends on the consistency that you want. So I say a little, I just pour in a little at a time, seriously just a little. If you put too much water in at once, you're going to have kind of a drizzle instead of a solid frosting that you can decorate with, okay? So go ahead and take your frosting. You're going to rub it over the top first of your cake. And the way you do it is you try to not touch your spatula to the cake itself, because the little crumbs will stick up and then they'll get all in your frosting and it'll be a mess. So you do your best to only touch the spatula with the icing, okay? And then you're just going to keep pouring it on and covering your cake all the way around. We've got our cake frosted. I have some little tools that I use to make a nice ridge on the top of the cake, and you can buy them at cake stores or Hobby Lobby. There's all different sides that you can create, and I like this smaller one that I have had for years that makes a nice flowing little ridge. And so you kind of go back and forth and do it until you get it to be just about where you like it. It takes a little bit of time, and sometimes you might want to wet your edger with warm water to make it a little bit more, but you don't want to smooth it out too much and have the cake show. So it's kind of like a balance, and I just use it because it makes a nice finishing touch, and then I don't have to worry about trying to get each little part of the cake smooth, because that can be more of a hassle. Okay, so I'm smoothing it over and do a little bit more to get that looking straight right there. And so now we're ready for our borders. Okay, so that's done. I've loaded my bag. You can get disposable bags, you can use a big Ziploc bag, but I have a bigger tip that makes a nice scalloped edge, and you can use a smaller one to do a fancier scallop. I'll show you afterwards a cake that I've been working on with a smaller edge, and it looks really good. But this is what I'm going to use for the border. So that's the bottom part and then the top part of the cake. You use the pressure to push it out and kind of swirl it down. I'm going to make these swirls all the way around. It's close to the old scallop that we used to do a lot of, But this tip is definitely more popular now for cupcakes and all kinds of cakes. But you could even do little swirls for like, I'll show you on the counter. You could even do like little dots like this all the way around for a border. You could do more of a scallop shell for a border, but I'd like the angle. So now on the top, I like to do a very simple swirl. It just looks big and fluffy, and so it's really just pressing down and then twirling. Pressing down and twirling. Now you can put your message, happy birthday, Jack is going to be on here, and then I'm going to put my Georgia symbol. So I've got my writing on here. I did my writing with a lot thinner of an icing so it would flow easier. I bought a decal for Georgia so I can put on here, but you can make the G out of fondant, and that's something we can do for another day. But sometimes it's just as inexpensive to purchase something that can be put on that makes it look real, like the real deal. So for me, I chose this, and then he can use the decal later. He just can't eat it. Another option is just writing it out with your icing if you've got a real steady hand and can fill it in with piping. What I'm doing now is just a star tip, a small star tip to go around it, just to kind of finish it off. All right, well, thank you for watching. We've made our cake, we've decorated the sides, and it's been fun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.